Hey, you're diving in with us today as we explore some really enduring wisdom tucked within a classic piece of literature, Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea.
Mm,
We've got a fascinating reflection from someone who's found this short novel incredibly relevant for years. And, well, that's our launch pad for understanding why it still packs such a punch.
exactly. And for those of you who might not have encountered it recently, or maybe never, The Old Man in the Sea tells the, well, seemingly straightforward story of Santiago.
Right, an aging Cuban fisherman.
Yeah, down on his luck after 84 days without a single fish. But don't let that simplicity fool you.
Definitely not.
As our source discovered, and as we'll, uncover together, there's a real depth to this narrative about struggle and the human spirit.
And that's precisely what we're setting out to do. We want to get to the heart of the timeless insights our source author found in Hemingway's work and see why they still resonate so strongly today.
Yeah, almost 80 years later.
It's amazing, isn't it? How a story so rooted in a specific time and place can continue to speak to us so directly.
Absolutely. So maybe let's lay the groundwork. The plot itself.
Good idea.
As our source reminds us, Santiago's luck finally turns on the 85th day. He hooks a marlin of truly epic
Yep.
proportions.
Huge.
And what follows is this incredible three-day battle, this massive fish pulling his small boat way, way out into the Gulf Stream.
And during this whole ordeal, he develops this profound respect for the creature, right?
Yes, almost seeing it as an equal, a brother even.
Right. And after this amazing display of endurance, Santiago finally overcomes the marlin. He starts the long trek back to shore, his magnificent catch tied to the side of his boat.
But as the story goes, his victory is tragically short-lived.
Ah, the sharks.
The sharks appear, drawn by the marlin's blood, and despite Santiago's brave attempts to fight them off,
Yeah, well,
they just keep coming. They relentlessly devour the carcass until he finally arrives home with, nothing but the marlin's skeleton.
yeah, just the skeleton.
And this is where our source author had that initial gut reaction, which I think, many of us might share when we first finished the book. Wait, that's it?
Totally. Like, what? All that effort for nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A seemingly simple story that ends in what could easily be interpreted as defeat. But as the author really dug deeper,
Oh, the context.
yes, especially learning about Hemingway's own struggles as a writer during that period, a whole new understanding began to emerge.
Right. It really highlights how the context surrounding a piece of work can completely um, reshape how we see it.
For sure.
Okay, so let's really unpack some of the specific wisdom our source author pulled out. The first thing that really struck me was this idea that age is just a number.
Mm-hmm.
Santiago is clearly not a young man anymore. In fact, his community considers him salao,
Unlucky.
unlucky. He even has his own moments of doubt. And yet he manages to achieve this extraordinary feat of catching this giant marlin.
It makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
About our own perceptions of what's possible at different stages of life. And what's fascinating here is the parallel the source author draws with Hemingway's own journey.
Oh, yeah.
He penned this acclaimed novella after a period where his writing hadn't received quite the same level of praise as his earlier works.
Ah, okay. So a bit of a slump, maybe?
Kinda, yeah. It's a powerful connection, both the fictional fisherman and the real-life author overcoming perceived limitations, demonstrating their enduring capabilities.
It almost makes you wonder, when have you perhaps underestimated yourself or others based on age?
Exactly.
It's a really powerful point. And our source author even shares a personal connection to this, remembering a time early in their own career when they felt stuck.
Mm-hmm. Like their best work was behind them.
Yeah, and Santiago's story and Hemingway's own comeback really provided a much-needed sense of hope and inspiration.
And some of those quotes really bring this lesson home, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. Like, everything about him was old except his eyes.
And they were the same color as the sea and were cheerful and undefeated. That image is just so vivid.
It really is. It tells you everything you need to know about his spirit, you know?
Absolutely. And then but none of these scars were fresh. They were as old as erosions in a fishless desert.
Wow. That speaks volumes, doesn't it? About the weight of experience, the battles already fought.
The things that have shaped him, and then Santiago's quiet, unwavering determination in the face of it all. I may not be as strong as I think.
But I know many tricks and I have resolution. Yeah.
It's not about youthful vigor, is it? It's about the wisdom and resilience that come with time.
Which flows perfectly into the next powerful insight.
Oh,
Perseverance.
definitely.
I mean, think about it. 84 days of heading out and catching absolutely
Can
nothing.
you imagine?
Most people would have thrown in the towel long before that. But Santiago keeps going.
Every single day.
And even after he hooks the marlin, the struggle is immense, stretching over 3 grueling days.
3 days.
And then, even when he's utterly exhausted and his hard-won prize is being torn apart by sharks, he continues to fight with everything he has left.
What does that tell you about the human spirit's capacity to endure? It's just incredible.
It really is.
And what's really interesting here is how the source author highlights Santiago's perspective on luck versus preparation.
Ah, right. That quote.
He says, "It is better to be lucky, but I would rather be exact."
Then when luck comes, you are ready.
Yeah, it's such a practical yet profound message, isn't it? About the importance of honing your skills, staying dedicated to your craft, whatever that may be,
So you're ready.
so that when opportunity finally presents itself, you're fully equipped to seize it. It's not just about passively waiting for good fortune.
Mm-hmm. Make your own luck, in a way.
Kind of. Or at least you're ready for it.
And that incredibly famous line, but man is not made for defeat.
Oh, yeah, powerful.
A man can be destroyed, but not defeated. It really distills this entire theme of unwavering perseverance in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds.
It does. Even though Santiago loses the physical manifestation of his incredible achievement, his inner strength, his spirit.
It remains completely unbroken.
Exactly. And that leads us to another really crucial insight that the source author points out, being graceful in defeat.
This one's tough, I think.
It is. Think
Yeah.
about it. Despite everything Santiago goes through, the immense effort, the ultimate loss of the marlin, we never really see him descend into bitterness or self-pity.
No, you don't. He acknowledges the outcome, telling the boy, "They beat me, Manolin. They truly beat me."
But there's no consuming despair. He still holds on to hope for the future.
It makes you wonder, how do you typically react to setbacks in your own life? It's a challenge.
It really is. It's a remarkable quality, isn't it? To be able to face significant disappointments without being completely consumed by negativity.
And I think that quote, "I never knew how easy it is when you're beaten," is surprisingly profound.
How so?
Well, it suggests a certain sense of peace, maybe, that can come with accepting an outcome, even if it's not the one you desperately wanted. It's almost like a release of the struggle.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I see that. And what's particularly insightful here is the focus on what Santiago still has.
Right. He says now is no time to think of what you do not have.
Think of what you can do with what there is. It's such a powerful reminder to shift our focus towards our remaining resources, our inner resilience, rather than dwelling on what's been lost.
Yeah, it's a very pragmatic and ultimately empowering perspective.
What possibilities might open up if we adopted that mindset more often?
Good question. Okay, the next lesson our source highlights is that life has no closure.
Ooh, this one really stuck with me too.
Yeah, we often crave neat resolutions, don't we? For everything to tie up perfectly.
We really do.
Mhm.
But the reality is, life is often much more open-ended, filled with loose threads and unanswered questions.
Much like the somewhat ambiguous ending of the novella.
That's a key observation. The recurring image of Santiago dreaming of lions on the beaches of Africa.
Lions, yeah.
It's so evocative. Our source author suggests it could symbolize a yearning for a past time of youth, strength, freedom.
Or maybe an ideal that's forever just out of reach.
Perhaps. It's a motif that appears throughout the story. And the fact that it's the final image we're left with really emphasizes this sense of ongoing longing, of life continuing beyond this specific struggle without a clear sense of finality.
It beautifully illustrates that life doesn't always provide those clear-cut conclusions we might expect or hope for.
Exactly. It's a powerful message about learning to accept ambiguity and finding meaning even without all the answers neatly presented.
Moving on, the theme of respect, even enemies, is so central to this story, isn't it?
Absolutely central.
Mm.
Despite the grueling life-or-death battle he has with the marlin, Santiago never loses a profound sense of reverence for the fish.
No, he calls it a worthy adversary.
Almost as a brother, acknowledging its incredible strength and beauty.
Absolutely. Those quotes really bring this complex relationship to life.
Fish, I love you and respect you very much.
But I will kill you dead before this day ends. It's this intense paradox, a fight for survival intertwined with deep admiration. And even when the marlin is causing him immense physical pain, he thinks, "You are killing me, fish."
The old man thought. But you have a right to. There's this understanding of the natural order, a complete absence of malice or resentment. It's quite something.
It really is.
What's fascinating here, as our source points out, is that Santiago even learns from the Marlin during their struggle.
Learns from it. How?
Well, their shared experience out in the vastness of the deep water beyond all people, it creates this unique and profound connection. He recognizes the Marlin's wonder and strangeness, truly seeing it as more than just a prize to be won.
Ah, okay. Like a fellow being.
Exactly, a fellow being from whom he can gain understanding. Have you ever found yourself learning something unexpected from someone you were in conflict with?
That's a really interesting question. And this respect extends beyond the marlin, too, right?
Yes, even towards the boy's parents, who had initially forbidden Manolin from fishing with him because Santiago was so salao.
Right, the unlucky streak.
Santiago shows no bitterness or resentment. He politely advises the boy to stay with a more lucky boat.
It speaks to a deep sense of humility, maybe. A real lack of ego.
I think so. Okay, the next insight delves into the reality that loneliness and isolation are part of life's journey.
Santiago is, in many ways, a solitary figure. He lives alone.
And while his bond with the boy is incredibly important, deeply felt.
He still exists in a considerable degree of isolation. It's a state that, many people experience at different times in their lives.
But it's not necessarily portrayed as a purely negative state, is it?
No, I don't think so. There's a sense of acceptance, almost a kind of profound connection with the natural world that fills some of that void.
Like that quote, "He knew no man was ever alone on the sea."
Yeah. It suggests a broader understanding of companionship, finding a sense of kinship in the immensity and power of nature itself.
Precisely. And while he acknowledges the inherent sadness in no one should be alone in their old age, but it is unavoidable.
There's a quiet stoicism there.
Yes, in his acceptance of this reality. He finds a different kind of connection, powerfully stating, "I am as clear as the stars that are my brothers."
Oh, that's beautiful. Finding your place within the vast universe, even in moments of solitude.
It really is.
Finally, our source touches on the really important idea that true success isn't always visible.
This is a big one.
Yeah. Santiago returns to shore with nothing but the skeleton of the once magnificent marlin. By conventional, material measures.
It looks like a complete failure.
Right.
But what's so insightful here is the shift in perception within the village. Seeing the sheer scale of the Marlin's remains earned Santiago a renewed sense of respect from his community.
They see the evidence of the struggle, the sheer size of what he faced.
Exactly. And perhaps even more importantly, as our source emphasizes, he proves something profound to himself.
The inner validation.
That's it. The deep knowledge of what he endured and ultimately accomplished, that's the true, albeit invisible, success in this story.
It makes you consider, what are some of the victories in your own life that might not be outwardly apparent, but hold deep personal significance?
Definitely worth thinking about.
It truly highlights that the value often lies in the journey, the struggle itself, the undeniable demonstration of one's own capabilities.
Rather than solely in the tangible outcome.
And that final scene of the old man peacefully sleeping and dreaming of lions, with the loyal boy watching over him.
It's such a powerful image of a deeper sense of fulfillment, isn't it? Even in the absence of material gain.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So as we bring this all together, this deep dive into The Old Man and the Sea, guided by the thoughtful reflections of our source, well, it reveals a lot.
Yeah, the enduring power of perseverance.
The crucial importance of maintaining grace when facing setbacks.
The acceptance of life's inherent unpredictability.
The profound value of respect for all beings.
The place of solitude in our human experience.
And the understanding that true and lasting success often lies far beyond what we can immediately see.
And it's truly remarkable to consider that these powerful themes observed some 80 years after Hemingway first shared this story.
And reflected upon just recently, April 9th of 2025, according to our source text.
Right. They continue to offer such valuable guidance and perspective as we navigate the complexities and challenges of our own lives.
Which leads us to a final thought, maybe something for you, our listeners, to consider.
Okay.
Think about a time in your own life when you faced a challenge that felt almost impossible to overcome, or perhaps experienced a defeat that, looking back now, ultimately led you to a deeper level of understanding or an unexpected form of personal growth. How do the timeless lessons we've explored today from Santiago's extraordinary journey resonate with that particular experience in your life.
Yeah, maybe there were invisible successes within that struggle that are worth acknowledging and appreciating today.
Exactly. Something to mull over.